Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's seminar hosted by the Berkeley Pharmatech Foundation. My name is Van Nguyen, and I'm the founder of the nonprofit. Our mission is to increase access for scientists and entrepreneurs in biotech through education, mentorship, and professional opportunities. We're privileged to be sponsored by the Ernie McNabb Foundation. Through the speaker series, industry leaders share insights on cutting-edge biotech innovation, career development, and entrepreneurship. Our goal is to foster a community where scientists and builders learn from real experiences and grow together. To get involved, follow us on LinkedIn for updates. Stay tuned for our upcoming seminars and conferences, and feel free to reach out to me to explore more ways to engage with our mission. Today, we're thrilled to welcome our speaker, Svetlana Kaz, who's a serial entrepreneur. And as you may know, the founder journey is not always easy. So Svetlana is going to be talking to us about the three challenges that we often do not talk about. So please take it away, Svetlana.
Yeah, thank you so much, Van, for the introduction. Uh, that's totally true. Founder's journey is not straightforward. There are a lot of uncertainties on the way. There are more than three, just to mention. I'm just going to cover three of the ones that I've been dealing with as a founder myself and giving the particular examples and what helped, what practical things helped me on my founder's journey. And I see that we have some people joining already. So if you guys want to share where are you joining from, where are you located, it would be nice to see in the chat like the locations you're joining from. I'm in Palo Alto, California. It's sunny today. It's not a warm day, as we would expect by this time of the year, but the weather is nice. Okay, in Mendocino, California. Berkeley, Finland. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, Minnesota. Auckland, Brentwood. Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. A great, a great group of people, mostly local people, but I see that there are people from different parts of the US. Palo Alto. Okay. Yeah, so before I begin my talk today, I want to ask the people who joined this call today, when you think of founders' challenges, what comes to mind? Just maybe share the first things that come to your mind, and we'll see like what's on top of our minds right now. Doubt, yeah, language barriers, not knowing some of the lingo, being a woman, yeah, yeah, all the real things. Yeah, I think what we mostly hear about, what I've been mostly hearing about, keeping on top of everything I have to do to run my business. Yeah, that all sounds true. We hear fundraising challenges, we hear about difficulties of being a female founder, um, about like traction, how difficult it is to gain the right traction for your startup, to hit the milestones, fundraising, yes, exactly. And honestly, in entrepreneurship, things don't go as planned all the time. I won't say every single day. Sometimes there are good days when we feel like everything is going as we planned. I have to acknowledge that there are these highs that keep us going, but mostly there is something unexpected. There is always something unexpected waiting around the corner. And I want to take you all back to February last year when my company, Strawberry Health, was preparing to launch a product. So we had everything ready to launch an at-home blood test for fertility levels. We had all the partnerships figured out. We had a blood collection device partner, We spend a lot of time finding like the best in class blood collection device so women don't struggle with the blood sampling. We had lab partners lined up to process these samples. We had all the materials printed, all promotional materials, and I had a speaking engagement lined up for the day of the launch. So I was feeling like we had everything taken care of and we are crushing it. And it was Monday. So on Monday, I'm feeling like everything is great. We are ready. We thought about everything. And on Tuesday, the very next day, I received a call from the lab who we already partnered with. And they asked me, okay, we are going through our records and we don't see who is your authorizing physician. And I was on that call and I remember like my heart starting to race. What are they talking about? Authorizing physician? It wasn't in my plan for the launch. And it turned out that in the US, we needed an authorizing physician to run at-home blood tests. And we didn't take this into account. It wasn't a part of the launch plan. And it was a regulatory requirement that we had totally missed. So it's just an example of how you can think that you have everything figured out, and the very next day you are running into a very real issue. And at that point, we had beta customers who have already signed up for the service. They paid to be part of this beta. So I had a real pressure of customers who are excited to try the product, who are ready to receive their test kits. And now I had this roadblock that could mean that nothing is going to happen and we might not launch at all. And it's a roller coaster that founders are riding all the time. One day you are at the top, the other day nothing is working out and you may close. Yeah, in the end, it all worked out. We reached out to our network of partners, and I think one of our other partners suggested the physicians we can turn to authorize our tests. So it's a happy ending in this case, but the challenge was real. I was feeling like I'm losing it. I was just winning it, and now I'm losing it. How is that even possible? So this is what we are dealing with all the time as entrepreneurs. And yeah, so I'm curious to hear if other founders in this chat have run into challenges like that. Just feel free to share if this sounds familiar, this feeling that you are on top of things and the next day everything is not working in your favor. Yeah, because my next point that I'm going to cover is loneliness. As founders, we often feel very lonely. It was my experience for sure, especially when going through challenges. It sometimes it feels like everyone is doing well. You open your LinkedIn feed, you see all the great updates, people celebrating milestones, people closing fundraising rounds. Someone just started their company and got accepted to Y Combinator or other accelerator. And you're looking at this and feeling, what's wrong with me and with my company? Everyone is crushing it. I'm the only one with all these problems piling up. And this is not a reality. It's not an accurate reflection of reality. What we see people are celebrating and what entrepreneurs are really dealing with behind the scenes are almost like two separate worlds. So we are seeing the tip of the iceberg that everyone is showing up, and what is at the bottom, all the real work, is invisible to us. And that creates loneliness, which is a very real thing for founders. And when I was when I was starting building Strawberry Health, I I think I didn't have many followers on LinkedIn, a couple of hundred followers. So I didn't feel like I had anything to lose if I start sharing the real parts of the journey, if I start posting about the challenges that I experienced. Sometimes I had the resolution. I was able to share how we overcame particular challenge, and sometimes I just shared a post and asked for support, asked for introductions, asked if anyone knew a person who can help with, I don't know, for example, if anyone knew people in corporate benefits who we can speak to see if we can like plug in Strawberry Health into corporate benefits for women employees. And surprisingly, people were very responsive to this kind of posts. So yes, if I share a win, people would celebrate with me. But if I share a struggle and if I ask for support, I would get even more response. So it really resonated, and in several ways. First of all, I was able to get the support. I think every time I asked for support, someone was able to support every single time. And additionally, I've started noticing that people are leaving comments like, yes, I'm going through the same thing. Like, I thought I'm the only one dealing with this. And thank you for sharing this. This has been my experience too. So I started noticing that the things that I thought are only happening to me are happening to so many other founders around me. And we're not seeing it. Those are real things that people are dealing with. And the social networks, the events we are attending, they are not reflecting the challenges. And it creates this loneliness. It creates this sense that I'm the only one with the problems. So I do encourage people to share real parts of the journey too. I believe it builds the communities and the support networks around us. And I think you, Van, are doing a great job with this speaker series because other people are able to see that we are in the same boat, we are dealing with the same struggles, and there is a support system that can help us in the moment when we need it. Okay, so if we're ready to move to the next thing, do we take questions in the end?
Yeah, it's up to you how you want to run it, Svetlana.
Yeah, I think we'll take questions in the end, and I'll just share the points I wanted to go through in this presentation. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is health, and it's our own health as founders. Very important point, which I personally had to take serious care of, is both physical and mental health. Being a founder is a very intense job. It is a very draining job. Your to-do list is always full. You're never at the point that you just complete some tasks and you are done and everything is great. You always have something else to take care about. And as a founder myself, I really struggled with taking care of my health while building a company, especially in intense periods like fundraising, like preparing for a launch of new product. It's really easy to neglect your physical health. Like I remember that my diet while we were preparing for launch mostly consisted of my children's food, which is like pizza, macaroni and cheese, and it won't take you far if you keep eating like this. And yeah, and mental health too. I'm going to talk about mental health too. But what I personally experienced 2 years ago, when I was just beginning to work on Strawberry Health, is something I want to share with you because it was a really low low of my physical health moment when I was taking care of everything in my company, of my team, that everything is taken care of for the launch. I also have a family and two young children, and I ended up in the emergency room on a regular working day. And it wasn't something serious. It was just so it was an iron deficiency anemia, but it was so preventable. And I started running it backwards in my head that I didn't take care of myself. I didn't go to my annual checkups. I didn't do my own blood work. I was launching a company doing blood work for people. I wasn't eating well. I wasn't exercising consistently. So all of my efforts went into building a company. I thought this is a priority. But who is going to build a company if founder collapses, right? So it's very, very important that we prioritize our own health first before we are able to invest physically and mentally into our companies. And mental health is also a huge part of this, especially in intense periods. I think the most intense period where I needed to take care of my mental health was the fundraising because it creates some alternative reality that everyone expects something from you, something different, and you are always trying to present a version of the company that this particular investor wants to invest in. So it was really hard for me. And even small things like taking a 5 minute break between fundraising calls, going to have a cup of tea, going outside to hear the birds and see that there is sunshine and blue sky. They are all still there while you're dealing with this intense period in your company. Yeah, so I would say both physical health and mental health are non-negotiables, and we need to take care of them first before we are able to take care of our companies. Um, yeah, and some practical things that have been helping me along the way, especially in the moments where I feel stuck as an entrepreneur, is finding the next tiny steps I can take to move forward. So sometimes the challenges that we experience, they feel overwhelming, they feel too big, and it can be discouraging to even think about them. So what I've been using personally is what I call the micro steps. So I'm thinking, what is one small thing that I can do today in the next hour, maybe in the next 15 minutes, that would help me move forward with something I'm stuck with? It can be like sending an email to an advisor or scheduling a meeting with someone from my team to discuss how we are going to move forward with something. But it helps us get unstuck, and it helps us to have this sense of agency that we are in control of what's happening. Yeah, and I think that's all that I wanted to cover in my speech today. And I'm happy to take any questions that our listeners may have today, and we can take this conversation into the direction that feels interesting. Play mahjong. Yeah, that's a really great distraction for your mind to focus on something other than big challenges of your companies, on something small, something grounding where you don't have to rush. I've been playing piano for that exact reason.
Thank you for the talk, Svetlana. I have been following you on LinkedIn and following others on LinkedIn, and I think what you said really resonated with me. LinkedIn is primarily about people celebrating their milestone, their successes, and if you're not at that point where you can celebrate, you just feel really, really lonely and just like left out. And I don't know. I mean, there are good things about the optimism on LinkedIn, right? But then the flip side of it is that sometimes it feels like on my side, sometimes it feels a little bit hollow, like I can't fully participate. And yeah, thank you for what you said about asking for support. I mean, as a woman, I tend not to like to do that just because I feel like I should be able to handle it myself. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And when I'm reading all these success stories on LinkedIn now, I'm sort of creating the backstory too, that this is just a part of what this person's life is, what this founder's journey is. I'm happy to celebrate this part with them, but I know that there is a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes that they are dealing with every day.
I find that when I'm lagging a little bit and feeling tired and a little overwhelmed, there's just so much. I thought about what Kat said, just all the little pieces of your business you have to keep going. But I find that if I connect with the patients and just every few days you get a new patient story in about what, in my case, what my drug candidate is, it will treat. Um,
Hmm.
that gets me through the bureaucratic quagmire
Yeah.
to know that, this is going to make a difference and have to stick with it. You just have to get
Hmm.
re-inspired.
I
I
agree.
buy myself new candles. That helps.
I love that. Yeah, speaking with your actual customers, with people who you are building this product, this company for, is incredibly powerful to remember why you are doing this, why you are struggling, and what is the end goal of all these struggles, where it will lead you, and how it can help the people. Okay. Do we have questions?
Well, for anybody that wants to learn to play mahjong, I love teaching it. So reach out to me privately if you'd like a lesson.
We need a community event for mental health for founders playing mahjong together.
That is a great thought, Svetlana. I was thinking about community gatherings and such, and mahjong may be the thing.
I would join. I love the idea. I'm
That's
in.
great.
Sign me up.
So somebody had a comment. Ali had a comment. I'm just going to read it out loud.
Yeah.
Asking for help is a learned lesson for me. I was taught not to ask for help, to prove myself and try to do things on my own. When I asked for help, then I was connected with what I needed to help my business be more successful, i.e., got connected with a builder for my kiosks that has the materials and know-how that we need for the kiosk prototype.
Yeah, that's the real struggle. I think for many entrepreneurs, people who start companies, they are very confident and self-reliant. They know that they have to prove to the world that we are capable of doing everything by ourselves. And for me too, it was a real struggle to ask for help, to show that, okay, I cannot handle this alone and I need support here. But it's really powerful. It can move things forward really quickly. It helps us understand that we are not alone. So, yeah, I understand that this is a real struggle, and we need to talk more about this because it's a struggle for probably every entrepreneur out there.
So another comment in the chat from Serena. The first 1 to 3 years or even five, lots of things
Hmm.
is under the iceberg. How can you share with your partner to one, understand, two, support, and three, to trust your vision?
Hmm. Am I understanding this question correctly that it's about like building the thing before you are able to like publicly um, share the struggles? Is this what Serena is asking about?
Yeah, I think what Serena means is, I think what she means by partner is the domestic partner, your spouse.
Oh, okay, I see. I see. Before the business takes off. I I think it's very like it's depending on your particular situation. I'm lucky to have a husband who I can share like everything about my business. And he's this unfortunate person who has to hear everything that is happening. If I'm disappointed, I will go around the house and I will publicly announce my disappointment. And if it's not a partner, then you have to have someone to be able to share things how they are with. It can be a community, it can be another founder. And I'm also fortunate enough to be able to have these founders who I can schedule a call with to very honestly talk about how things are going because it is powerful when you are in the output mode all the time and you're only sharing like the polished side of things, it's also very hard on your mental capacity. There need to be spaces where you can be real, where someone can hear about the parts that are not working, about all the messy things you are going through. And it is essential to find it somewhere. It doesn't have to be a partner, someone who you have in your household, but it has to be someone.
Thank you for sharing. I'm just going to read to you a comment from Sue. My brother used to call it my dream. I corrected him to understand this is my purpose, all caps.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, people who are not from entrepreneurial field often may refer to your passion and your purpose as something that you are dreaming about, but for you, it's a real thing. You are putting your all your efforts, you're putting all your heart into making this possible, into making this exist in the world and solve real problems. I love the agency here too.
He shut up a little bit after I got the patent.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, real milestones help in that. Yeah, I think I see the comment from Margaret that finding a mentor helps, and I agree. I agree. A mentor can be that person who can show support, who can stay with you when you are uncertain, when it's difficult, when you are not yet ready to like publicly share the result of your work. It's a great place to go if you have mentors around you.
A comment from Kat. I have a career coach. She really helps me stay on track and talk through hard times.
Yeah, yeah, it totally be a coach. If you cannot create this support network on your own, find someone you can pay to be this support for you. It can also be a therapist if you want. Whoever is ready to be there for you, to listen, to validate what you're going through, it all counts. It is all very important in a founder's journey.
So Sue said this is the organization C Sweetener. Ali, maybe seek out a woman mentor or coach. I
One
ran
more.
into two men at a networking event that were very harsh and not exactly helpful.
Yeah, sounds like a common experience. Yeah, having support from women mentors is really powerful. For Strawberry Health, all of my advisory board was female. And it wasn't my goal to build an all-female advisory board, but I ended up aligning best with senior women who understand it wasn't necessarily a medical advisor. They were all sorts of experts from marketing side, go-to-market side. It just happened that women really got it, that it's difficult to build a company. It's difficult to be an entrepreneur in a world which is substantially male dominated.
So, Svetlana, going back to what you said about loneliness, since you're one of the few women founders out there in the world working alongside the men, was that like a source of loneliness for you, or were you okay with that part of it?
It created some struggles along the way, for sure. I think, especially during the fundraising part, I could feel that the demand to me as a founder is very high compared to what I've been hearing from male founders. But from the part of loneliness, I don't think it was a big obstacle for me because there are a lot of women founders networks these days. There are specific events for women in tech. I think the community, especially here in the Bay Area, the community is great. You just need to be present. You need to put yourself out there and be open to these connections.
So, a question for you from Teresa. How do you recommend to separate professional and personal relationships as a female founder?
That's a great question. I think it's very difficult. For me, it was very difficult to separate relationships. When you're a founder, when I'm a founder, I see everything in the world as part of me building my company. It's sort of this perspective that I cannot easily turn off. So any new connection, any relationship, any coffee conversation, I unconsciously run it through this lens of how this can help, how this can help my company, how we can help each other, how I can like, introduce this person to someone. And the only thing that is clearly separate for me is my school, my children's school connections, because there is an obvious reason why I'm talking to other grown-ups at my children's school, and it's not my startup. Everything else is very difficult. It always gets mixed into work. Maybe someone else in our chat has an advice on that that would be helpful. Yeah.
Such as the comments from Margaret. Startup founders are the quiet architects of tomorrow, daring to dream in the dark and stitching hope into the fabric of possibility.
Oh, I love that. Almost like a line from the book.
Yes, these are so
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, exactly. Yes, we have to live in our own imagination a lot of time, and other people may not understand it because we are creating things, we are building things that are new, that solve problems that have not been solved before. So it's essential that we see these possibilities, that we build towards something that did not exist. And it's a real skill that founders have to master.
Everyone, if you have a question or comments for Svetlana, please go ahead and unmute yourself. Yes, Himani.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's so good to see so many beautiful women working in this field, and like it's very impressive and inspiration for young people like us. So my question is, what is one unspoken challenge you faced early, you wish someone has warned you about, like both in terms of like starting a company and like building the connections.
Hmm. One unspoken. Can you repeat the question?
I'm saying like what was one unspoken challenge you faced early that you wish someone has warned you about, and like if you have to go back and you can change it and like as advice, like
Yeah, I think asking for support early on, as early as you need it. Don't try to figure out yourself. Look for the people who have walked the journey, who have networks. People are incredibly supportive. That was the thing that I learned when I started my company and started sharing my journey. People want to support. So if they have the right connections, if they have someone to introduce you to, if they have the expertise, you will hear from them, but you have to ask. If you stay in your head, if you think that, okay, I'll find a way to push through, I'll find a way to figure it out on my own, then no support is possible.
yeah, I think that completely makes sense. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. I think it's also very difficult like to ask for help because sometimes you are also not sure like how the other person is react going to react. So yeah, thanks for sharing that.
It is very difficult to ask for help. Yes, yes. And so for me personally, at one of the hardest moments last year, I've had my advisors started checking in on me. So I think it was this special connection that they knew that I'm a very self-reliant person, that I I may struggle and I may not ask for help. So having these people who know your style, who know that you are very self-sufficient, you like to push through, who can check in on you is also helpful sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I see the comment that the key is to let others see your vision, which can be tough sometimes. Being visible is tough. Putting yourself out there when you are building is a very brave thing to do. That's interesting that we have this, um, I don't know, mindset, or we have this point of view that we need to succeed first before we start putting ourselves out there. But the reality is most startups fail. And very few reach these milestones that we see in the news that are publicly celebrated. And so many of us are dealing with very real struggles. So it also contributes to this one-sided picture of everyone being successful, everyone being on top of things. And it's really harmful. It's harmful for founders' mental health. We feel lonely. Yeah. I hope we can all collectively put ourselves out there, ask for help, ask for support, and change this perspective.
Svetlana, one question from Margaret.
Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge you face in fundraising?
The biggest challenge. There were many challenges. That's the biggest. I think mental health was the biggest challenge because you have to stay sane in this process that is not designed for supporting your mental health. It's quite the opposite. It is very draining. Yeah, so I think that something that I was most proud of after I have finished my fundraising is that I didn't go crazy. That I was still there for my company and for my team. But I think it took me a while actually to recover from fundraising. I've had weeks when my calendar had close to zero calls. because I just couldn't sit in front of my laptop and join another Zoom call after 2 months of like doing these Zoom calls like 10 times a day sometimes. So I would say yes, mental health, all the ways that help you support your mental health is are valid. Whatever is helpful, use it.
So for yourself, Svetlana, what do you do to stay
Mhm.
mentally fit?
Yeah. So I would say that taking care of my physical health helps me with my mental health. So during the fundraising, I was still making sure that I can go like for a run outside, to listen to music, to just be in nature, to know that I'm doing something for myself too, not only for my company. Taking breaks, staying connected with supportive people, other founders, friends. Like friends is a tough one. When you're a founder, all of your friends are founders or people from your professional network. At least it was the case for me. Like finding time for friendships outside of that was difficult. But yeah, searching for support, people who can support you, taking care of yourself, taking breaks, like doing hikes in the nature, schedule like 3 hours in a day to go on a hike, to look at the trees, at the waterfalls. I don't know, whatever is available around you. It's really grounding. It really helps to reset the mind that your company and the results of your fundraising are not what defines you.
I'm just going to read some of the
Every nose is a
comments out
compass.
loud.
Yeah.
Margaret said, every nose is a compass, not a cage. Every stumble a rehearsal for the leap. And Kat said, I had a contract
Yeah,
fall through
that's the
yesterday.
mindset.
So I made myself get out for my run as planned, so I wasn't disappointed about two things.
Yeah, all the real working strategies. The right mindset that a no from an investor is not the end of the world. In fact, this is an expected thing. This is the most likely outcome from any fundraising call that you're going to have. And I totally agree that if you cannot control this part, you can control whether or not you're going outside for your walk, for your run, for whatever you had planned to take care of yourself. This really helps.
So, Svetlana, from what you've just said so far, it seems like mental health support is a must for founders. I think I'll be working some of that into my program just to make sure that founders need to support get the
Yes,
support
please.
that they need as they're going through fundraising and building their startup and whatnot, because
Absolutely.
so many things are happening at the same time.
Absolutely. I think there is a need for that. We need to talk about this, but we also need to create the spaces and opportunities for founders to really experience this, that this support exists. There are other people who are also need support. I'm excited to see what you're going to build. Okay, do you have more questions? Maybe someone wants to, okay, money.
Hi. I think it may be a little bit open-ended question. Like, in a health tech space where everything is like so uncertain, how to decide like when to stick to your original plan versus pivoting early, like based on feedbacks and like.
Yeah, I think you always have to look at the market signals. Yeah, it won't do any good to stick to your original idea if no one is buying into it. So because you're building things for the customers, whether it's a direct to consumer product or if it's a B2B product, there is a customer on the other side who is supposed to need your product and be able and be ready to pay for it. So if you're not getting these signals that someone is ready to pay, this is very important to listen to and to go back to your drawing board and to see what exactly I can change here. So I am solving a real problem that people are ready to pay for. Yeah. Because we experienced this at Strawberry Health. The test kits weren't the original idea. We were initially building an educational app, and the signals told us, no, build something else. So, yeah, listening to the market.
Yeah, I completely agree to this point. As I'm doing masters in translational medicine and I have a physician background, so we are being taught here every day like user needs are the important to before starting any product or any idea because the more the feedback you get. I'm very curious to know like at what stage in a startup we implement this. Is it similar to what academics says or like is it like after this much of things I've done and then we introduce user needs and
Um, so from my experience, I would say as soon as you have an idea and you are ready to invest into building, check in with the market. It can be conversations with potential customers. Ideally, it would be something that you are ready to sell even before you build. If you are able to prove that people are signing up for your beta, for your waiting list, and especially paying to wait for your product to launch, this is a really strong signal. This is something that you are listening to and investing into creating. Yeah, because you can invest your efforts into a lot of ideas, but your efforts are limited. Your time is limited.
okay, yeah, thank you for explaining that.
Of course. Any more questions?
Oh, thank you for leading the conversation, Svetlana. People really leaned in and asked a lot of questions, which is like
Yeah,
quite unusual. So you did a great job.
I'm happy. Yeah, I always love the conversation. I think it's helpful for everyone to have a two-sided conversation because we are talking about real problems when we have questions and answer particular questions. So if there are more, happy to take them.
I'm going to be in Oakland or the Bay Area Monday night before flying to DC on a red eye and then back late Thursday night. So there's the potential for a Mahjong group on either Monday night for a lesson or sometime on Friday. I'll let you know those that have contacted me about that.
I love
Thanks.
that we are leaning in into the mahjong idea. Yeah, I think we definitely need to keep it strong and we need to make it happen.
Well, I'll bring a set. We'll figure out where we meet,
Fantastic.
and then you'll know in a couple hours if you like it. So it's a game of both strategy and luck. So if the Mahjong gods give you good tiles, even a beginner player can win.
Yeah. That's great. Oh, I see a question. How to ask better questions in survey to users without using AI? Um, well, there is a great book called The Mom Test that I would definitely recommend to anyone who is preparing to do any sort of user interviews. And the main point is not to bias your users with what you're building. Because if we imagine that you come to a friend of yours and you ask them, if there was an app for answering all of your women's health questions that would cost $5 a month that I built, would you buy it from me? What we are going to hear is obviously a yes, likely a yes, because the friends want to support us. We just shared that we have an entire idea ready. No one wants to disappoint us in this kind of conversation. But if we ask, what was the health issue that you were dealing with in the last month? Where did you go to solve your problem? How much did you pay? How did you decide like which provider to choose? That's a whole different story. You are getting the real facts about what the problem is and how people are currently acting to solve it and how much they are paying. So the questions that you ask, they need to be unbiased. They need to give you real data, which you can then on your side process and decide, okay, how can I make the job of these people easier? And I recommend checking out the jobs to be done framework as well, where you are like figuring out what tasks are involved right now into solving your users' problems and how you can collapse this set of tasks into a smaller number of tasks and ideally make it cheaper.
So that book, Jobs to Be Done, who's the author, Svetlana?
It's not a book, it's a framework. And I know there are great YouTube videos about this framework, Jobs to Be Done. And the book is called, I'm going to put it in the chat, it's called The Mom Test. This is the one I recommend before doing any user interviews. And
Yes,
Jobs
thank
to Be
you.
Done framework. I know that some startup accelerators make you go through this Jobs to Be Done framework as part of the application process. And it's done for you as a founder to think about what is the actual set of actions that people are doing right now to solve the problem that you are about to start solving with your company. That's a really useful thing. Imani, you have a question?
Yeah, I don't have exactly a question. I do have a like feedback to give. Like I recently found one thing, the NSF I-Corps, that National Science Foundation I-Corps. I found it very helpful for the startups, like because they actually test the value proposition and the user needs and the stakeholders' demands. So like I really find it helpful, like for starting any.
Can you put the name in the chat
Yeah,
so
of course. It's
people
it's
can
it's both
search it?
from UCSF and UC Berkeley. So yeah, I surely I can.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. We are beating founders' loneliness in real time. There is a community support, sharing resources with each other. That's amazing.
I think everyone here is familiar with NSFI Core, but just so you know, there are two versions of it. The long version, which takes I don't know, months or something, I think that's what Himani is talking about. And then the shorter version of it takes about 2 weeks to go through the program. It's a mini version that's offered by UC Berkeley.
Yeah.
UC Berkeley also has a design program that if you needed to talk with designers there, you could probably reach out to them, Himani. Like
Okay.
there's a whole program in there. It's in the technology. They're part of the tech innovation group, but those are all options.
Okay, yeah, thank you for guiding. Yeah, I recently did NSF Corp and found it so helpful and I actually did it from UCSF, so I found it very helpful. So yeah, that's very interesting, and thank you for sharing that design one too. I think yeah, this is what I think community means, like helping each other. So yeah, thank you.
Exactly.
So, Svetlana, thank you so much for coming today to conclude our seminar. I just want to say that we have upcoming webinars in the next few weeks. We run the speaker series once every 2 weeks. And also in late April, we're organizing a pitch event, and you're all welcome to apply. I think my email just went out this morning. I'm hoping to see lots and lots of applications. We're choosing 5 candidates, five founders to present on the day of. It's going to take place in San Francisco. At the office of Perkins Coie, which you might be familiar with, is on the 10th floor. So yeah, those are a few upcoming things, and happy to stay in touch and have coffee chat with anyone who's interested.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today and for this conversation. It is very much needed, and for all the thoughtful questions. It was very uplifting to see this community support. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you so much.